Your mind is the battlefield where victory or defeat is decided before you even take a single step. If you don't have a strategy, you will become a casualty. If you don't take control of your mind, something or someone else will. It's not your circumstances that are holding you back. It's your mindset. You've been fighting battles on the outside, but the real war is happening inside your head. You cannot win in life with a losing strategy in your mind. Today, I'm here to tell you, it's time for a new strategy, a fresh perspective, a renewed strength, a shift that will unlock the doors you thought were permanently shut. If you're tired of living below your potential, if you're ready to rise up, then listen closely, because today we are about to take back the power over your mind. Your mind is the first battleground where every victory or defeat is decided. Before anything manifests in your life, it first takes shape in your thoughts. Your success, your failures, your progress, your stagnation, all of it begins in the unseen world of your own mind. And the greatest deception is believing that what happens in your mind is insignificant. That is a lie designed to keep you trapped in cycles of struggle. There is a force working against you that does not want you to recognize the power of your own thoughts. It wants you distracted, overwhelmed, and too busy to notice that the battle is not external, it is internal. It convinces you that your circumstances are the reason you are stuck, but the truth is, circumstances have no power unless your mind surrenders to them. Some of you have been blaming your environment, your past, or even the people around you, but the real war is not out there. It is in you. Every single day, thoughts are being planted in your mind. Some are seeds of strength, hope, and faith. Others are seeds of doubt, fear, and insecurity. The problem is that most people do not take responsibility for what grows in their minds. They let anything take root. They allow negativity to build strongholds. They give fear a seat at the table. And before they know it, they are living a life that is controlled by thoughts they never consciously chose. This is why you cannot be passive about your mind. You must take control, because if you don't, something or someone else will. Thoughts are like soldiers, and without a strategy, the wrong ones will take over. Have you ever noticed how easy it is for your mind to be flooded with negativity? How quickly fear spreads, how naturally doubt whispers? That is because negativity does not need permission. It only needs a place to settle. And if you do not fight back, if you do not take dominion over your own mind, you will become a prisoner to whatever thoughts demand the most attention. The battlefield of the mind is real. It is where your identity is shaped. It is where your beliefs take form. It is where your potential is either unlocked or buried. And until you recognize that this is where the real fight is happening, you will keep wasting energy fighting the wrong battles. Some of you have been trying to fix external things when the real problem is internal. You've been trying to change your habits, your relationships, your circumstances, but until you change your mind, everything else will stay the same. If you want to change your life, start by taking authority over your thoughts. Guard your mind like a fortress. Do not allow just anything to enter. Be intentional about what you dwell on, because whatever controls your mind controls your future. The battle is happening now. The question is, are you fighting or are you surrendering? There is a silent thief that has been stealing from you for far too long. It doesn't break into your home or take from your bank account. It robs you in a way that is far more dangerous. It steals your confidence, your peace, your joy, and your potential. And the worst part, you don't even realize you've been handing it the keys to your own mind. This thief operates through the lies you've been believing, lies that have settled so deep into your thinking that you no longer question them. Lies that have disguised themselves as truth, shaping the way you see yourself, the way you see your future, and the way you see your worth. These lies did not come from you, but somewhere along the way they were planted in your mind, and without realizing it, you started feeding them. Maybe it started when someone told you that you weren't good enough, that you didn't have what it takes, that you would always be limited by your past, your mistakes, or your circumstances. At first it was just a whisper. But the more you listened, the more it grew. And now, without even thinking about it, you carry those lies with you everywhere you go. They dictate your decisions. They keep you from stepping out in faith. They convince you that your dreams are too big, that success is for other people, that you are destined to remain stuck. And here's the dangerous part. Whatever you feed in your mind will grow. The more you repeat a thought, the more power it has over you. If you keep telling yourself that you're not worthy, your mind will find ways to confirm it. If you keep replaying every failure, you will start believing that success is impossible for you. If you keep feeding fear, it will expand until it chokes every ounce of courage inside you. Some of you have been feeding the lies for so long that you don't even recognize them as lies anymore. They have become your reality. Not because they are true, but because you've accepted them. And as long as you keep accepting them, they will keep controlling you. You have to stop giving power to the thoughts that are destroying you. You have to stop nurturing the very things that are keeping you in bondage. Every single day you have a choice. Will you continue to feed the lies, or will you starve them? Because the only way to break their hold over you is to cut off their supply. Stop giving them your attention. Stop giving them your energy. Stop giving them permission to occupy space in your mind. It's time to start feeding the truth that says you are stronger than you think, the truth that says your past does not define your future, the truth that says you are equipped, you are capable, and you are more than enough, the truth that says you were created for a purpose and that no mistake, no failure, and no limitation can cancel that. You don't have to live another day being a prisoner to the lies that have held you back. The power to change is in your hands. The question is, will you use it? Your mind is a battlefield, and every day thoughts are waging war for control over your life. Some thoughts are sent to empower you, to strengthen you, to remind you of who you are and what you are capable of. Others are sent as weapons, poison wrapped in familiarity, designed to weaken you, to make you question your worth, to make you hesitate, to make you believe that you are not enough. The tragedy is that too many people don't recognize the difference. They allow destructive thoughts to take root and grow as if they belong. They embrace them as truth without ever challenging them. And what you do not challenge, you will eventually accept. That is why you must become a warrior in your own mind. You must stand guard at the gates of your thoughts and refuse to let just anything take up space. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your belief. Not every feeling should be trusted. If you do not challenge the negative thoughts that try to take root, they will build strongholds inside you. They will shape the way you see yourself, the way you see your life, and the way you see your future. And if you are not careful, you will begin to live according to a reality that was never meant to be yours. A single negative thought, if left unchecked, can spiral into something much bigger than you ever expected. A thought of self-doubt can turn into insecurity. A thought of fear can turn into paralysis. A thought of discouragement can turn into a complete loss of motivation. And before you know it, you are no longer fighting battles on the outside. You are battling against yourself. You are holding yourself back. You are sabotaging your own opportunities. You are rejecting good things before they even have a chance to enter your life because your mind has already convinced you that you don't deserve them. But here's what you need to understand. Every negative thought can be challenged. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it belongs there. You have the power to decide what stays and what must go. You can take hold of a thought, examine it, and ask, is this true? Is this thought lifting me up or tearing me down? Is this thought pushing me toward my purpose or pulling me away from it? And if the thought is destructive, if the thought is poisoning your confidence, if the thought is keeping you small, then it must go. You do not have to entertain thoughts that weaken you. You do not have to make a home for words that destroy you. But it's not enough just to reject negative thoughts. You must replace them. You must feed your mind with what is good, what is strong, what is true. If you do not intentionally plant empowering thoughts, negativity will creep back in by default. You have to train your mind to recognize and embrace the truth, even when it feels unnatural at first. Speak strength over yourself. Remind yourself daily that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you have been given everything you need to move forward. Your mind must hear the truth louder than the lies, and the only way that happens is if you intentionally challenge and replace every thought that tries to hold you back. It will not happen overnight. You will have to do this every day. You will have to become aware of what you are thinking. You will have to stop certain thoughts mid-sentence and refuse to give them life. But the more you do it, the stronger you will become. The more you challenge, the more you will see the difference between truth and deception. And one day you will look back and realize that you are no longer a prisoner to the thoughts that once ruled your life. You have taken back your power. You have rewritten the script. And because your mind has changed, your life will change as well. Your mind is the command center of your entire life. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every step you hesitate to take all begin with the way you think. If your mind is aligned with your purpose, you will move forward with confidence, with power, with clarity. But if your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and uncertainty, you will find yourself stuck, questioning every move, over-analyzing every opportunity, and shrinking back when you were meant to rise up. Too many people are living beneath their potential, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because their minds have not yet caught up with the truth of who they really are. They carry an outdated mindset, shaped by past experiences, old failures, and negative voices that told them they weren't enough. They hold on to mental limitations that were never meant to define them, and without realizing it, they keep making decisions based on a false identity. They let past pain dictate present choices. They let old rejections make them fearful of new opportunities. They let the opinions of others control their self-worth, and as a result, they walk through life as less than who they were created to be. But you cannot step into a greater life with a mindset that is still trapped in yesterday's limitations. You cannot expect new results if your thinking is still rooted in old patterns. If you want to see change in your life, you must first change the way you think. You must align your mind with your purpose, with your destiny, with the truth of your identity. You must break free from the lies that have held you captive for too long. Some of you have spent years living according to labels that were never meant for you. Someone called you a failure and you believed it. Someone told you that you weren't good enough and you accepted it. Someone made you feel like you didn't matter, and you carried that belief into every area of your life. And now, without even realizing it, you have built an identity around words that were never meant to define you. But today you have the power to break free. You do not have to live according to old words, old labels, or old identities. You can align your mind with a higher truth, the truth that you were created for a purpose, the truth that you have everything you need to succeed, the truth that your past does not determine your future. Alignment is a choice. You must be intentional about what you allow into your mind. You must be selective about what you accept as truth. You must guard your thoughts with the same intensity that you guard your home, because whatever you allow into your mind will take root and shape your life. If you continue to consume negativity, doubt, and fear, you will begin to live according to those things. But if you surround yourself with truth, strength, and purpose, your life will begin to reflect that reality. This is not something that happens passively. You cannot wait for your mind to change on its own. You must take action. You must make the decision every single day to align your thoughts with the future you desire. You must reject the thoughts that weaken you and replace them with thoughts that empower you. You must remind yourself daily that you are capable, that you are chosen, that you are here for a reason. And when your mind starts to align with that truth, your actions will follow. Your decisions will reflect confidence. Your steps will be filled with boldness. You will begin to attract opportunities that once seemed out of reach. Doors that were once closed will begin to open, not because your circumstances suddenly changed, but because your mind did. Do not let another day go by with your mind working against you. Take control, take authority, align your thinking with your purpose, and watch how everything in your life begins to shift. The power is in your hands. The question is, will you use it? Your mind is the gateway through which everything enters your life. What you see, what you hear, what you absorb daily is shaping you, whether you realize it or not. You do not rise above the level of your thoughts, and your thoughts are directly influenced by what you allow into your mind. If you are not careful about what you consume, your mind will be filled with distractions, negativity, and poison that slowly erodes your confidence, your clarity, and your sense of purpose. This is why you cannot afford to be careless about what enters your mind. You must guard it like a fortress. You must take control of the gates, because if you do not, someone else will. Look around you. We live in a world that is constantly bombarding us with information. Social media, television, conversations, news, opinions. There's a constant flood of words, images, and ideas vying for your attention. And most people are letting it all in without questioning whether it belongs there. They are allowing fear to creep in through headlines that are designed to keep them anxious. They're allowing insecurity to take root by comparing themselves to carefully curated images of other people's lives. They are allowing doubt to grow by surrounding themselves with voices that tell them to play small, to settle, to stay where they are, instead of pushing forward. And then they wonder why they feel lost, why they feel unmotivated, why they feel stuck. But the real issue isn't their circumstances, it's the fact that their mental gates have been left wide open, letting in everything, including things that were never meant to be there. You would never allow a stranger to walk into your house, throw garbage on your floor, and sit down as if they belonged there. Yet too many people allow garbage to enter their minds daily without resistance. They listen to negativity, they entertain toxic conversations, they absorb opinions that do nothing but bring them down. And they never stop to ask, why am I allowing this into my life? If you want to rise higher, if you want to think with clarity and power, you must take control of what enters your mental space. You must guard your gates with the same intensity that you would protect your home, your family, your most valuable possessions, because your mind is more valuable than all of those combined. Guarding your mind means being intentional about what you expose yourself to. You cannot feed yourself negativity all day and expect to have a positive mindset. You cannot constantly listen to doubt and expect to walk in confidence. You cannot consume fear-based information and expect to move with boldness. If you want a strong mind, you must feed it with strong things. If you want to think with wisdom, you must consume wisdom. If you want to move in courage, you must be surrounded by words, ideas, and influences that strengthen that courage instead of tearing it down. This is not something you do once. It is a daily decision. Every morning when you wake up, you must decide what you will allow to enter your mind. Will you start your day absorbing negativity, scrolling mindlessly through distractions, listening to voices that weaken you? Or will you take control and fill your mind with thoughts that build you up? Will you choose wisdom, strength, and purpose? Because what you choose will determine the direction of your day. And the direction of your days will determine the course of your life. You have the power to control what you allow in. You have the authority to say no to things that weaken you. You do not have to let everything in. You do not have to entertain every voice, every opinion, every message that comes your way. You have the right to be selective, to be intentional, to be disciplined about what you expose yourself to. And when you start guarding your mind the way you should, you will begin to see the difference. You will feel stronger. You will think clearer. You will walk with more confidence because your mind is no longer cluttered with distractions, negativity, and fear. It is aligned. It is focused. It is filled with the right things. Do not let another day go by allowing just anything to enter your mind. Take control. Guard your gates. Choose wisely what you allow in, and watch how your mindset, your energy, and your entire life begin to transform. The power is in your hands. Will you use it? Your thoughts are not just ideas floating in your mind. They are the architects of your reality. The way you think determines the way you live. Your thoughts shape your words shape your actions, and your actions shape your destiny. If your mind is filled with strength, confidence, and purpose, your life will begin to reflect that. But if your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and hesitation, you will find yourself trapped in cycles of limitation. That is why you must be intentional about transforming your thoughts, because nothing in your life will change until your mind does. Transformation does not happen by accident. It is not a result of wishful thinking or hoping things will get better. Transformation is a deliberate process. It requires effort. It requires consistency. It requires a deep, unwavering commitment to shifting your mindset from what it has been to what it needs to be. Some people think they can change their lives simply by working harder, by doing more, by chasing after external success. But no matter how hard you work, if your mind is not transformed, you will always revert back to your old pattern. You will find yourself struggling with the same fears, the same insecurities, the same self-imposed limitations, because your thoughts have not yet been renewed. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant seeds of strength, wisdom, and confidence, you will reap a life that reflects those things. But if you allow weeds of negativity, fear, and doubt to take root, they will choke out every good thing that tries to grow. And the problem with weeds is that they do not need permission to spread. They do not need help to take over. If you do not intentionally remove them, they will multiply, they will take up space, and they will suffocate the very dreams and aspirations you were meant to pursue. Transformation begins with a decision. A decision to take control of your thoughts, to challenge the ones that do not serve you, and to replace them with thoughts that empower you. Some of you have been living with thoughts that do not belong to you, thoughts that were placed in your mind by people who did not believe in you, thoughts that were shaped by past failures and disappointments, thoughts that have kept you small, that have convinced you to settle, that have whispered lies to you about who you are and what you are capable of. But today, you have the power to change that. You do not have to be a prisoner to your past thoughts. You do not have to continue living under the weight of old patterns. You can decide right now to transform your mind and step into a new way of thinking. Transformation is a process. It will not happen overnight. You will have to train your mind the same way an athlete trains their body. You will have to be consistent. You will have to be disciplined. You will have to catch yourself when old thoughts try to creep in and immediately replace them with new ones. This will take effort. At first, it will feel unnatural. Your mind will try to revert to what it has always known because the old patterns feel comfortable. But just because something feels familiar does not mean it is right. Comfort does not mean correctness. You must push past the discomfort. You must keep going even when it feels difficult, even when you don't see immediate results. Because transformation is not an event, it is a journey. And if you stay committed to it, your entire life will begin to shift. You cannot afford to live another day with an untransformed mind. You cannot afford to let old patterns dictate your future. Your destiny is too important. Your purpose is too great. There is too much at stake for you to remain where you are mentally. The time to change is now. The time to rise is now. The time to take control of your thoughts, to renew your mind, and to step fully into who you were created to be is now. The question is, will you do it? Your mind is powerful, but its power depends on how you train it. It will either work for you or against you. It will either be your greatest asset or your biggest obstacle. And the truth is, many people are prisoners of their own thinking. They live within self-imposed limitations, not because of what others have done to them, but because of how they have allowed their own minds to operate. They believe certain things about themselves, about life, about their potential, not because those things are true, but because they have rehearsed them so many times that they have become their reality. The mind is like a muscle. If you do not train it, it will default to weakness. It will default to fear, to doubt, to insecurity, to negativity. Just like a body left untrained will become sluggish and out of shape, an untrained mind will settle into patterns of mediocrity. It will take the path of least resistance. It will cling to what is comfortable, even when what is comfortable is keeping you small. That is why you must train your mind. You must discipline it. You must condition it to think in a way that serves you, not sabotages you. Because if you do not take control of your mind, life will take control of it for you. Training your mind requires awareness. It requires you to become conscious of the thoughts that run through your head every single day. Many people are not even aware of the mental patterns they are trapped in. They have lived with a certain way of thinking for so long that they do not question it. They do not challenge it. They simply accept it as reality. They wake up every morning and allow the same negative thoughts, the same limiting beliefs, the same doubts to play on repeat in their minds. And then they wonder why they feel stuck. They wonder why they cannot move forward. They wonder why every time they take a step forward, something pulls them back. But what is pulling them back is not an external force. It is the untrained mind that has not yet been disciplined to think in alignment with their purpose. Training your mind means challenging every thought that does not serve you. It means questioning every belief that has kept you limited. It means refusing to accept things as true simply because they feel familiar. Just because you have always thought a certain way does not mean that way of thinking is correct. Just because you have always seen yourself in a certain light does not mean that is who you truly are. You must put your thoughts to the test. You must ask yourself, does this thought strengthen me or weaken me? Does this belief push me forward or hold me back? Does this way of thinking align with where I am going, or does it keep me stuck where I have always been? And if the answer is that your thoughts are not serving you, then they must be replaced. They must be rewritten. They must be trained into something new. This will not be easy. Changing the way you think is one of the hardest things you will ever do. Your mind will fight you. It will try to revert to what is comfortable. It will resist transformation because transformation is uncomfortable. But growth always requires discomfort. No athlete becomes great without pushing their body beyond its limits. No musician masters their craft without hours of disciplined practice. No mind is renewed without the daily effort of reprogramming thought patterns. If you want a strong, powerful mind, you must put in the work to build it. You must be intentional about what you think, about what you speak over yourself, about what you allow to take root in your consciousness. Because every thought you entertain is either a step toward your destiny or a step away from it. This is not something that happens once and is finished. It is a lifelong process. You will have to train your mind every single day. You will have to catch yourself when old patterns try to creep in. You will have to speak life over yourself when negativity tries to take hold. You will have to discipline your mind like an athlete disciplines their body. With consistency, with intensity, with commitment. And over time, you will see the results. You will feel the difference. You will wake up one day and realize that you no longer think the way you used to think. You no longer doubt the way you used to doubt. You no longer fear the way you used to fear, because your mind has been trained. It has been conditioned. It has been transformed into a tool that works for you, not against you. You have the power to train your mind. You have the power to shape your thoughts. You have the power to build the mindset that will carry you in the life you were meant to live. The only question is, will you do the work? Your emotions are powerful. They have the ability to push you forward or hold you back. They can be the fuel that drives you to your destiny or the chains that keep you bound to your past. Emotions are not random. They are responses to what you think, what you believe, and what you allow yourself to dwell on. If your emotions are constantly controlling you, dictating your actions, and keeping you unstable, It is time to master your emotions instead of letting them master you. Too many people live their lives being led by how they feel in the moment. If they feel motivated, they take action. If they feel discouraged, they give up. If they feel excited, they move forward. If they feel afraid, they retreat. They allow their emotions to drive their decisions, and because emotions are constantly changing, they find themselves living in a cycle of inconsistency. One day they believe they can conquer the world, and the next day they doubt themselves so much that they refuse to take a single step. One moment they are full of vision and passion, and the next moment they are ready to quit. And the reason is simple: they have not yet learned how to take authority over their emotions. Your emotions were never meant to lead you, they were meant to serve you. They were meant to be indicators, not dictators. They can give you valuable information, but they should not have the final say in how you live your life. If you wake up in the morning and do not feel like pushing forward, that does not mean you should stop. If you feel afraid of stepping into something new, that does not mean you should run back to what is comfortable. If you feel discouraged because things are not happening as fast as you want, that does not mean you should give up on your vision. Emotions come and go, but purpose remains. Feelings shift, but destiny stays the same. You cannot afford to build your life on something as unstable as emotion. You must build your life on conviction, on truth, on principles that are unshakable. Mastering your emotions requires discipline. It requires a conscious effort to separate what you feel from what is real. Just because you feel unworthy does not mean you are unworthy. Just because you feel like you are failing does not mean you are failing. Just because you feel stuck does not mean you are not growing. Your feelings are real, but they are not always right. And if you allow them to dictate your decisions, you will find yourself constantly running in circles, making choices based on temporary emotions instead of long-term wisdom. Training yourself to master your emotions means learning to pause before you react. It means learning to process what you feel instead of being a slave to it. When you feel overwhelmed with frustration, instead of letting it control you, you take a step back and ask, what is this frustration trying to tell me? When you feel afraid, instead of shrinking back, you ask, is this fear real, or is it just trying to stop me from stepping into something greater? When you feel discouraged, instead of giving into it, you remind yourself of the truth that progress is not always seen immediately, but that does not mean it is not happening. You train yourself to acknowledge your emotions without allowing them to dictate your choices. This is not about suppressing your feelings. It is not about pretending you do not feel hurt, angry, fearful, or discouraged. It is about recognizing that those emotions exist while refusing to let them steer your life. It is about learning to feel things deeply, but still making decisions based on wisdom, not just impulse. It is about taking control of your responses so that you are not constantly at the mercy of how you feel in the moment. This is not easy. It takes practice. It takes intentionality. It takes training yourself every single day to respond instead of react. It takes catching yourself when emotions try to take over and making the decision to act based on truth instead of just how you feel in that second. Over time, as you develop mastery over your emotions, you will notice a shift in your life. You will become more consistent. You will stop making impulsive decisions that you later regret. You will find yourself moving with clarity and stability, no longer being tossed back and forth by every changing feeling. You will become unshakable because you are no longer controlled by temporary emotions. You are led by something greater. Your emotions do not have to control you. You have the power to take authority over them. You have the ability to feel deeply without being led by feelings. You can train yourself to respond with wisdom, with discipline, with strength. And when you do, you will find yourself walking in a new level of peace, a new level of focus, and a new level of purpose. The power is in your hands. Will you use it? Your environment shapes you in ways you may not even realize. The people you surround yourself with, the conversations you engage in, the atmosphere you place yourself in, all of these things have a direct impact on your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. You cannot expect to grow if you remain in an environment that stunts your growth. You cannot expect to think differently if you are constantly surrounded by the same negativity, the same distractions, the same patterns that have kept you stuck. If you are serious about changing your life, you must be just as serious about changing your environment. Too many people are trapped, not because they lack talent, not because they lack vision, but because they refuse to leave an environment that is no longer serving them. They are surrounded by people who do not believe in them, yet they wonder why they struggle with self-doubt. They engage in conversations filled with gossip and negativity, yet they wonder why their mind feels cluttered and uninspired. They spend their time in places that drain their energy, yet they wonder why they constantly feel exhausted and unmotivated. It is not always that something is wrong with them. Sometimes it is that their environment is poisoning it. You're pushing you forward or pulling you backward. It is either feeding your growth or feeding your stagnation, and if you do not take control of it, it will take control of you. You must be intentional about where you place yourself, who you allow into your space, and what kind of atmosphere you choose to dwell in. Because whether you realize it or not, your environment is shaping you every single day. If you are constantly surrounded by people who are negative, who complain about life, who have no ambition, who tear down instead of build up, then eventually that energy will rub off on you. You may think you are strong enough to resist it, but the reality is the more you expose yourself to something, the more it influences you. You cannot spend your time in toxic environments and expect to remain unaffected. Just like a plant cannot grow in toxic soil, you cannot thrive in an environment that is suffocating your potential. Changing your environment does not just mean cutting off people or leaving places behind. It also means intentionally placing yourself in spaces that inspire you, that challenge you, that elevate your thinking. It means surrounding yourself with people who push you to be better, who believe in your vision, who challenge you to rise higher instead of settling for less. It means putting yourself in places where you can learn, where you can grow, where you can expand your thinking. It means making sure that the conversations you engage in are feeding your mind instead of draining it. This is not easy. Sometimes changing your environment requires making difficult choices. It requires distancing yourself from people who have been a part of your life for a long time but are no longer aligned with where you are going. It requires stepping out of familiar spaces and stepping into the unknown. It requires letting go of comfort in order to embrace growth, and that is not something everyone is willing to do. But if you want to step into the next level of your life, you must be willing to change what needs to be changed. You cannot afford to stay in an environment that is keeping you small. You cannot afford to be surrounded by voices that weaken you instead of strengthen you. You cannot afford to spend your time in places that drain your energy instead of fueling your purpose. If you want more, you must position yourself for more. If you want to rise higher, you must be willing to leave behind anything that is weighing you down. This is not just about external changes. It is also about internal changes. Sometimes the environment that needs to change the most is the one inside your own mind. You need to clear out the clutter, remove the mental distractions, and create an internal space that allows you to focus, to grow, to thrive. Because no matter how much you change your external surroundings, if your internal environment is still filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, you will not see the results you want. Changing your environment is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. Every day you must choose what kind of space you will place yourself in. Every day you must decide who you will allow to speak into your life. Every day you must be intentional about the atmosphere you create around yourself, because every day your environment is shaping you, whether you realize it or not. You have the power to change your environment. You have the power to remove what is not serving you and replace it with what strengthens you. You have the power to choose who you allow in your space, what you give your attention to, and what kind of atmosphere you cultivate around yourself. The question is, will you take control or will you continue to let your environment control you? You have a purpose, and that purpose is greater than any setback you may face, greater than any obstacle standing in your way. It is greater than the doubts you may have about yourself, and it is greater than the limitations you may think exist in your life. The challenges, the disappointments, the setbacks, they are not here to stop you. They are here to strengthen you, to teach you, and to prepare you for something greater. But you cannot allow your setbacks to define you. You cannot allow the obstacles in your path to become your identity. Your past does not determine your future. The struggles you have faced do not determine your destiny. You have the ability to rise above every challenge, to overcome every hardship, and to step fully into the purpose you were created for. But the question is, are you willing to push past the pain? Are you willing to endure the process, to walk through the fire, knowing that on the other side lies your breakthrough? Are you willing to trust that every setback is a setup for something greater? Because if you allow every disappointment to hold you back, if you allow every challenge to convince you that you are not capable, if you allow every setback to make you believe that you cannot move forward, then you will stay stuck, you will stay where you are, and you will miss the opportunity to step into the greatness that is waiting for you. Your setbacks are not an end, they're a beginning. They are part of your journey, and every journey has its obstacles. You are not the first person to face adversity, and you will not be the last. The difference between those who rise and those who fall is how they respond to the obstacles in their path. Will you use them as a reason to give up, or will you use them as a reason to push harder? Will you let them make you weaker? Will you let them make you stronger? Greatness is not born out of ease. It is not born out of comfort. It is born out of struggle, out of perseverance, out of the willingness to keep going even when things get tough. It is born out of the mindset that says, I will not quit. I will not give in. I will not let this defeat me. Because greatness does not come to those who avoid difficulty. It comes to those who embrace the process, who face the challenges head on, who understand that setbacks are only temporary and that the breakthrough is on the other side. It is easy to be discouraged when things are not going the way you want. It is easy to let doubt creep in when things are not happening as quickly as you expected. But you must understand that timing is not always in your control. The process is not always in your control, but what is in your control is your response to it. You can choose to remain steadfast, to keep your eyes on your purpose, to trust that every step you take is moving you closer to your goal. It may not be happening on your timeline, but that does not mean it is not happening. What you may see as a setback is simply preparation for what is to come. You may not understand the purpose of every trial, the reason behind every struggle, but trust that it is all shaping you into the person you need to be to step into your destiny. Without the trials, you would not have the strength, the resilience, or the wisdom to handle the greatness that is ahead of you. Without the setbacks, you would not be able to appreciate the success when it comes. Every challenge, every disappointment, every setback is preparing you for the next level. You are stronger than you think. You are capable of more than you realize. And the fact that you are still standing, despite everything you have been through, proves that you have what it takes to overcome whatever comes your way. This is not the time to give up. This is the time to press forward, to stay focused on your purpose, and to trust that the best is yet to come. The road to success is never a straight line. It is filled with twists and turns, ups and downs, victories and failures. But each step you take, whether forward or backward, is part of the journey. And as long as you keep moving, as long as you keep going, you are closer today to your breakthrough than you were yesterday. Do not let the setbacks fool you. They are not the end. They are the beginning of something greater. Keep going, keep pressing, and know that your breakthrough is on the way.